Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome to Hangin' With. I'm GW Pomichter. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, go on down there and hit subscribe and come back later and see some more artists, authors, artisans, you name it. We got it at the Ogallie Art Festival here. If you're tuning in for the first time, thank you very much for your time. We want to give a special shout out to our friends at Something Unique Magazine, somethinguniquemag.com. They send these videos, they put them on their webpage, they share them with the world, and we're so grateful for that. We're also grateful for our friends at Awesomeness TV. That's awesomenessnetworktv.com. They're a great site. They share YouTubers' videos all over the web. They actually have a YouTuber conference where you go and meet other YouTubers.
Awesome.
And it's great. They help you get more subscribers. We've made some new friends here at this event. Special thanks to Lou Belcher of the Florida Book News blog. They're a blog to bring attention to Florida writers, organizations, and events all across the state of Florida. And they just kind of help highlight our authors, and that's great. They're going to be sharing these videos. We are at the 8th annual Ogallie Art Festival, for anybody that doesn't know it. We're in historic downtown Ogallie district of Melbourne, Florida, at the Civic Center. And we were invited in here to do these interviews by some great folks, Dr. Valerie Allen, Holly Fox Delacoop, and Marshall Frank, and they kind of invited us in, and we thank them for that. We're here hanging today with Marlene Potts, author and screenwriter.
I'm budding. I am budding.
Outstanding.
I am learning the language.
Very nice, very nice. She is the author of Miller's View, and Miller's View, A Look Into the Darkness. And we're glad to be hanging with. Thanks for hanging with us.
Thank you.
All right, this is Miller's View, A Look Into the Darkness.
My language creation.
How's your weekend going here? Is it
so far,
good?
so good.
Met a lot of readers and writers?
A lot of readers, a lot of writers, a lot of interesting stories out here. Oh my God, it's just awesome.
You get a great vibe here.
Yes, you do.
You get to feel like you're a part of this great community of creators.
And I love the fact that somebody stopped to put this together for authors.
It is wonderful. The Authors for Authors group that organizes this is amazing. The fact they attach to the art festival, I think that's a fantastic. It shows the world we're artists.
Mm-hmm.
Our art is painting with words.
Exactly.
And so it's great to be a part of that entire event. You know. So we want to know a little bit about your history. Tell us, how did you start writing, first of all? How did you become a writer?
Oh, wow. I started in high school.
Okay.
I actually took a course in high school as part of my senior year.
Okay.
And I would leave one school and go to the other, and I would learn to write. But they started me in children's stories, and that's not my niche. I don't know. I started Miller's View on a dare, I think. I think someone dared me to write something that was not a romance.
Okay.
Because that's my first book was a romance.
Your first kind of, yeah.
My first book was a romance, and she wanted me to write something that wasn't a romance. So I started Miller's View, and it's just rolled into one book after the next.
Oh, that's wonderful.
One book after the next. So Miller's View, then Miller's View, A Look Into the Darkness. The next one is Miller's View, The Case of the Blue Diamonds.
Wow, I take it these are mysteries.
They're all mysteries. It's mystery. It's suspense. It's twists and turns. It's a touch of voodoo.
Wonderful.
A little bit.
Wow.
It's a lot of mysticism going in here. And the following one after that is already started. It's called Miller's View, La Isla de la Muerte.
Wow.
So it's going to be the Island of Death.
The island. Wow.
The Island of Death.
Island of Death.
So that
this
one
doesn't
has
sound like a
already
good
started.
vacation spot. Not at all. Tell us a little about the Miller's View, the overall collection. Now, don't spoil it too much. We want them to buy the book.
Exactly.
Okay, so give us a little overview. What are we looking at with Miller's? First of all, why Miller's View?
Miller's View. Okay. In the first book, the homicide victim leaves behind a pair of glasses.
Okay.
Now, this is where I don't write. I don't read. I don't talk.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
We're just chatting here.
Let me slow down.
Yeah, they're not even here. They're not even here.
When he goes into the victim's apartment, he discovers a pair of glasses.
Okay.
Now, when he picks up the glasses, he puts them on, and he starts to see things.
Okay.
Now, if I give you the same glasses, you put those glasses on, you look at them, you go, okay, clean them up a little bit, and but you see nothing.
Wow.
You see nothing. He's the only one that these glasses work for.
So it's Miller's View.
Miller's View.
Okay. And so the Miller's View collection is now 2 books.
It's now 2.
Miller's View, where we finally meet Miller's View, and then Miller's View will look into the darkness, which is I'm assuming
Create.
Wow, that's so we got a little voodoo in here.
A little voodoo.
I see that. That's great. Who's your cover designer?
Jennifer Givner from Acapella Book Cover Designs.
Let's give a shout out to Jennifer.
Jennifer Givner, Acapella Design Book Cover Designs. Girl is awesome.
Yeah, she's done an amazing job here.
She's done an amazing job.
It really is, and they don't make it to these conferences. Our editors and our book designers and things, we don't see them out here, but they're so much a part of our work.
So much.
And,
Polished Pages. Let me shout out to Polished Pages Editing.
Outstanding. Polished Pages Editing.
Yes.
If you're a creator and you're out there and you're looking for an editor,
Oh,
maybe you're a
she's
first-time
good.
author, maybe you want to clean up a book that you've already got out there.
Yes, you do.
Okay,
Find
make
her.
sure you get to them.
She's good.
So now you've started writing and you said you really just kind of rolled into it.
Yes.
And so has there been any really challenges or anything that's really, any obstacles in your way that you've had to overcome? Life.
If I could
That
stop
day job.
If I could stop the rest of my life and
just do
write,
this, yeah.
I'd be fine.
Yeah.
If I didn't have, I can't say that. I'm currently taking care of my 91-year-old mother.
Wow.
And occasionally taking care of an 18-month-old granddaughter.
Wow. You have a granddaughter?
I have a granddaughter.
Ain't nobody gonna believe that on this show.
Thank you. You're sweet.
Nobody gonna believe that. Granddaughter. How old?
18 months
18
old.
months. I have 2 grandchildren.
Oh,
I
see?
have a 3-year-old and a just about 7-month-old
Oh,
grandchildren. Unfortunately, I only get to see them on Skype.
Oh,
My son and his wife have settled in Oregon, and when he got out of the Marine Corps, and but it is so fun to watch them grow up and to see my son become a man and with a family of his own.
Sweet, though.
It's such a wonderful
It
thing
is.
to see, and you've got to be so proud of that little granddaughter.
I do, and I have mine with me, so I'm truly blessed. She's home with me.
That's
so
amazing.
That's great.
That is great. And 91-year-old
And
mom.
She just turned 91 yesterday.
Wow, we just had an
Friday.
interview with a
I
94-year-old,
saw her.
and what a feisty young woman, I'll tell you. And she just started writing poetry 2 years ago, in her 90s. She decided she's going to start to write, and she joined this group here, and they're encouraging her to publish. And
That's great.
that's what I mean. This community is so great for that. They encourage. When I first wrote, I was telling someone before, I felt like other writers were my competitors. But when I started coming to these things, it's so encouraging. They want you to succeed.
Exactly.
And I know everybody out there wants you to succeed. So, what are some of the most rewarding experiences that you've had as a creator?
Oh, just having somebody tell me that they've read the book and that they've really enjoyed it. And I got an email from my editor. When she finished the editing, she said, I couldn't put it down.
Wonderful.
That's the next
Don't
that's
you
the
love
next
seeing
book.
that?
She couldn't put it
My
down.
favorite day, my first fiction, I wrote a nonfiction book based on my experience as a political consultant. And it did okay, it was doing fine, but I really wanted to do nonfiction. I wanted to do fiction. I wanted to dive in and create something. So I did my first book, and it was more of a kind of tipping my hat to Days of Old.
Right.
It was a homage to the days of Raymond Chandler and Bogart and watching those detectives. And so I did a nice mystery there. And I put it out there, and some people liked it, and some people didn't. You know how that works. But the best thing that I ever heard was I got a letter, and to me, the story was done. I'm done. And I get an email, and it says, when's the next case?
See?
And I was like, it wasn't going to be a next case.
Right.
And I sat down, and we kind of blurbed it, and all of a sudden, there was another book, and I said, wow, and a fan did that. It came from the fans.
Exactly.
And that is an amazing feeling. It's a great reward to being a creator. Time warning, we're running out here. So I want to know, what advice would you give to a young writer starting out that was just getting into this? What would you tell them?
Oh my. Don't get discouraged. Sometimes you hit a wall and you think you really can't go any further with it.
Uh-huh.
Just take a breath. Stop, slow yourself down, and just take a breath, and it'll pick back up. You hear a lot of them that say they've got writer's block. Writer's block doesn't exist. It's just a time for you to reflect on what you've done and where you might go, but don't stop.
It's just a breath.
Just take a breath.
That's beautiful advice. It really is. Because I hear so much on the blogs and other places, I hit a wall, I can't write anymore, I feel like I can't write anymore. And really, like you said, that's a moment to take a breath, look at what you've already done, get your bearings, learn look at the direction you're in, and come. That's great advice for a young writer coming up. And I know you've got more to come. There's plenty more Miller's View coming.
Miller's View is coming.
Where can we find Miller's View and Miller's View A Look Into the Darkness?
You can find Miller's View, you can find everything at my website.
Okay, and your website is?
www, if I can remember it right, mswpots99.wix.com /Miller's View.
Okay, it's a Wix website, so you can find it there. That's wonderful.
Yes.
We have a Wix website ourselves, so it's where we are. But if you didn't hear that quite right, it's okay. We're going to put it right down here when we do the editing on this, so you can see it, where to go and find that. Can we find this on Amazon?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so you can also go to Amazon.com and do a search for Marlene Potts. Do a search for Miller's View or Miller's View, A Look Into the Darkness, and keep your eyes open for the next Miller's View book, because you're going to keep writing them.
I'm going to keep writing them.
That's right. We're to keep going. That's what writers write. That's what we do. Right? No matter what we do here, we sit at our keyboards and we crank out the words. Well, folks, that's about it for this particular interview. We've had a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Marlene. We want to give another shout out to Something Unique Magazine for sharing these videos. For more episodes of Hanging With, go on over here on the side and click on another episode and watch more about more authors, or come on back later by subscribing and find out who else we're talking to. Or you can go over to the iTunes store and get the podcast if you want to. Go on down in the description and help us to get the word out about these artists by going over to cafepress.com/hangingwith. Buy yourself a t-shirt, get a coffee mug, get a ball cap, support Hanging With, because if you support us, we can support these great authors and artists, and you're showing your support. I'm G.W. Pomichter. We've been hanging with Marlene Potts, the author of Miller's View and Miller's View, A Look Into the Darkness, and coming soon the rest of the Miller's View series. So subscribe with us, log on, tune in, click to get those books, and see who we're going to be hanging with next.
In the summer of 1953, private investigator Will Lucky Marks was working as the in-house private eye for Arcane Pacific Pictures. Trapped inside the studio with the killer, Lucky must find the killer before time runs out. Lot 28. Own it today. Available iTunes and Amazon.com.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome to Hangin' With. I am GW Pomichter. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, go on down and hit the subscribe button. You're going to love this. Every time you come back for a show, we got authors, creators, filmmakers, musicians, you name it, we got it. Come on back. So we want to start off real quick with a shout out to our friends at Something Unique Magazine. That's somethinguniquemag.com. We send our thanks to them and to our new friends over at Awesomeness TV. That's awesomenessnetworktv.com. Thanks for sharing these creators and authors all over the World Wide Web. This weekend, we are at the 8th Annual O'Galley Art Festival in historic downtown O'Galley in Melbourne, Florida. I would say sunny Melbourne, Florida, but I looked outside and it looks like drops of sunshine are falling from the sky.
Between the drops of rain.
Between the drops of rain, that's right. We had a special thank you to Author for Authors, who invited us in and let us interview the authors that are here today. That's Dr. Valerie Allen, Holly Fox, Valen Coop, and Marshall Frank. Thank you guys for having us in here. We've had a blast. And welcome to the show. And we are hanging with Gordon England.
Yes.
The author of the Wild Side series, Adventure Stories. And he's a member also of the Space Coast Writers Guild. Welcome, Gordon. Thanks for being on Hanging With us. And thanks for hanging with me. And what we have one of the adventure series here. We have Living in the Bahamas, Adventures in Paradise. So how many books? Let's start. How many books are in the series?
In the series, I have 22 books, some of them short Kindle books and some of them full-size novels.
Wow, 22. I mean, I thought I was Superman with 3. So, wow, that's amazing. How did you start writing? How did you start writing these things?
I moved to the Bahamas in 2006, and after being there for a year, for the first time in my life, I decided I had to start reading, and the right side of my brain opened up, and the beautiful scenery and the mermaids just came to me, and I started writing early years, late years, imaginative years.
That's a great.
And it turned on when I was 55 years old.
It just turned on one day. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thanks for being on the show. And telling us about this. Let's start with Living in the Bahamas. What can people expect when they pick this up? What kind of story is this?
A few years ago, my wife and I had midlife crisis, and we sold everything and moved to the Bahamas and lived in Nassau for a couple years.
Wow.
Took our boat over, and this is a story of what it actually is like as you go to live in another country with their culture, with their permits, with their police and the life, and what it's like living differently.
I grew up very fortunate. I actually am a graduate of what was Florida Air Academy here locally, and I have many a friend that live down in the Bahamas. And when I hear from them, the life experiences are so different as we get from different cultures. And but it's an amazing thing.
There are misadventures, adventures, Paradise Lost, hurricanes. We were there through the 3 hurricanes in the thousands, and so. It was so interesting. I had to put it into print and start telling more and more stories.
Right now, how do you publish through a small press or a publishing company, or do you self-publish?
Self-published. Self-published.
So you're an indie author.
Yes.
What is your favorite part about that? What's your favorite part about being an indie author today?
Favorite part is that I get to write at my own pace, and there's nobody telling me what to write or when to write.
What would you say is the biggest challenge you face as an indie author?
It's marketing.
Marketing?
Yes, I have the freedom to publish, but I then have also the freedom to go out and market that you don't have if you're independent. Yep. So that's a challenge, and why people like you are so important to us.
Well, thank you. I hope we are anyway. And our show is based on the principle of authors helping authors. I'm an indie author myself, and I always tell myself the best way to market me is to market you. If you're successful, people will remember and they'll come back and they'll check out my stuff. So, okay, great. So now, what inspired you? Or is there any person out there, are there any writers that are your favorites? Somebody that just inspires you and makes you think about your writing and put more into it?
It was actually living in the islands and reading a Hemingway book about Bimini that got me thinking, and I tried to imitate his style initially and develop my own style from it.
Hemingway, not only is he an iconic figure in literature,
Yes.
but he's inspirational because Hemingway was able to find the art of the simple sentence and
Yes.
turn it into a story that was compelling. And every sentence you wanted to follow the next one. And so Hemingway inspires me. Hemingway reminds me that I don't have to be florid in my writing.
Yes.
Because I tend to go off and I want to write the great American novel in a single paragraph. And Hemingway is kind of an inspiration. Tell me short, just one sentence at a time, and they'll follow you. And so
Verbosity is not necessary.
Exactly.
And being an engineer in my other life, I didn't have the verbosity that Shakespeare and these people had, but I can still tell interesting stories.
A good story, yes.
Yes, and compelling stories.
That's amazing. How's it going with the books? Are they selling? People buying them? You get a lot of
They're
feedback?
selling. The Kindle books sell more than anything else.
Okay.
And I'm on the web at the author site on Amazon.
Okay.
And I'm in several book clubs, and we help and support each other.
Awesome.
And doing well.
That's great. That's great. It is. It's a struggle, but it's one that's a lot of fun. And that brings me to my next question. As you've been an independent author and you have 20-something books out there, it's short and long.
Yes.
What is the coolest or most unique experience that you've had as an author, as a creator?
As an author,
Favorite people that you've met, maybe, or an experience, or a fan? Could be just about
the upcoming book that is going to be my next book
Yes.
is about a Cuban defector who came over during one of the boat lifts.
Oh, okay.
And he has amazing stories about working for Castro and flying his gold to Switzerland and arms to Panama. And Antonio Banderas wants to make a movie from this guy's life, and so I'm going to write the book story that hopefully will screenplay will be made from.
Well, that's really cool.
Yes.
That's amazing stuff. And that's one of those experiences that when you step into this community, just sort of you happen into it. And
places like this make it happen.
It is. It really is. It's what a great network of people. We've got to talk to probably 14 different folks here on Hangin' With, and that's today.
Yes.
We haven't started tomorrow yet. So it's an amazing place to meet people. Do you have any ongoing projects, something that's coming up that you don't mind sharing with us?
I have another book about Cuban boat lifters that is almost finished.
Okay.
And the rafters that came over during the Balseras movement in 1994. I was fishing out during those years and would see the empty rafts coming across the ocean that were dead man rafts.
Wow.
And for 2 decades, that's boiled in my mind, and now I'm finally writing a story about what it must have been for the people and the terror they had on those little tiny rafts with sharks and hurricanes.
That is the kind of food for imagination, because I think all of us watched the news back then and thought, it's only 90 miles. What a hellish 90 miles that's got to be. And I saw some of the rafts, the makeshift.
That Gulf Stream
Wow.
just ripped all those little tubes and rafts to pieces.
I can't even imagine it. You think, because you and I think 90 miles, it's an hour and a half in the car, right?
4 days of hell.
4 days of hell. Amazing, amazing. Where can our viewers that are out there on the World Wide Web, we know it's a big pond, so let's give them a lifeboat. Where can they find Living in the Bahamas and the rest of the Wild Side series? Where can they find
Those
it?
can be found at my website at www.wildsidestories.com.
Okay, great. We find you on Amazon?
Yeah, on
Obviously,
Amazon.
on Amazon. For Kindle, are you published on any of the other sites, Barnes and Noble or anybody like that?
No.
Nope. It's okay. So go to Amazon. If you've got your Kindle, grab it there. If you don't have your Kindle, if you're on an iOS device, go ahead and download the Kindle app. And when you first get it, you want to go and you want to look for Living in the Bahamas or any one of the Wildside series by Gordon England. Folks, we're getting ready to wrap up our Hangin' with Gordon right now. But we want to say thank you to everybody out there on the World Wide Web for tuning in and hanging with. I'm GW Pomichter. We've been hanging with Gordon England. Before we go, we want to send another thank you to Something Unique Magazine at somethinguniquemag.com. For more episodes of Hanging With, go on over here, go to the list, check out another episode, another author, another creator, some filmmakers, some musicians. Check them all out, or go over to the iTunes store, grab the podcast. While you're here, go on down to the description. You can click on over to the Hangin' With store at cafepress.com/hangingwith and pick up a t-shirt or a coffee mug or a ball cap. Help us to do our job so we can bring you great authors like Gordon. Thank you so much for being with us. Gordon England, the Wildside series. Find it on Amazon. We're here at the 8th Annual O'Galley Art Festival. Thank you so much, Marshall Frank, Holly Fox, Bellencoop, and Dr. Valerie Allen for having us here. I'm GW Pomichter again. We've been hanging with Gordon England. And remember, subscribe right down there. Log on and tune in and see who we'll be hanging with next.